What's up, everybody? This your boy JB, the host of the show. Tell me about it 2024. I got my man Brody in the house, and I just want to say love, peace, and respect. This is our first studio uh, guest, and we are so excited to have him here at 5280 Studios.
First, yes.
Thank you so much for coming out to us. We're gonna dive real deep into this one, y'all, is because we've been chewing on this for a second, sitting here chit-chatting, and we just want to, really want to talk about this. And so today's topic is why? Just why? And the reason for the question is because how many times have you walked into a situation and just been like, man, why? Why?
What are we doing here?
And so we are going to dive deep. I'm going to be asking some questions. We're going to be talking. Right. Please check in online, subscribe, like, follow, share. Everything you guys do is amazing for us. Thank you so much. Here at 5280 Studios, we are highly blessed and highly favored to have you guys with us. So, Brody, we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
First question that I have is, give me just any scenario. It doesn't have to be relationship. It can be a life challenge. Why?
Challenge.
Like, think of it as, I walked into this problem and I asked myself the question, why? Just why? Because I couldn't maybe understand it or I couldn't process it. Explain a scenario that you've gone through in life where you had to ask that question to yourself, just why?
See, a lot of times it's personal. It might be business related. You know what I mean? It might be you trying to work things out. But for me, my personal why is I'm just trying to have a good time, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out here, shit. We've been knowing each other for over 20 years, so we just out here having a good time.
Definitely.
I've been with my bro for a long time, man. But
definitely,
my why is just to have a good time because we don't know nothing about that outside part. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what we do know is about right now, right here, so we can have a real good time.
Hey, man, I think that's something to cheer for. I agree with that.
Right now.
I agree with that. Just to kind of go into it myself, I'll give you a personal why. Why for me I do this. We have so many opportunities in life where we can show our skill, show our faith, show our belief. And my why is because I want to see more out of myself. I've had so many problems where I've said it was somebody else's fault. You see what I'm saying? That it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. And that is an incorrect way to look at it. I think that the why is, what do you see in the good and the bad? What do you see, regardless of the picture? There's something good, there might be something bad. But why? Why do you first see the bad? But
it's always like why am I in this position?
Right.
What choices did I make? Like, even if there's some kind of outside influence, you still got to think about, like, where was I at when that influence came, and what were the choices that I had? So why am I here right now?
Right.
Why? You know what I mean?
And that was my why. And that was my biggest why. So in your career, in your life's career, have you ever had a question to yourself, why did I choose this career path? Why not choose this career path? Have you ever experienced that in a why situation?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Man, I went through a lot of stuff when I was a kid, but somehow I figured it out. Got a way to get a full ride scholarship, bro. And took that opportunity to go across the world and learn what I could. And try to figure out some kind of tech savvy way to run things. And once I graduated, what's the word they use? The market is saturated. So that was a point where I'm like, why did I do all of that? Because not only did I just go to college and do it, but it was something that was like a high school passion of mine. I created a whole website, taught myself how to read code and everything. So once you get into a certain position after you have made all these steps, you're kind of like, what are we doing here?
Mm.
What's the purpose? What's the point?
Mhm.
But I watch a lot of movies, right?
Okay.
And one movie that I've been watching for a long time is the Terminator series.
Mm.
And there's a line in this series where they say there's no fate but the fate that you make.
Right.
So
Okay.
there may be these good books of destiny that many of us may or may not be a part of. We don't know. We can't see it
Mhm.
at that level, but what we can see is the choices that we're making are leading us down a path.
Mm.
And we may not be able to see the path in the beginning or even in the middle
Mm.
or even at the end.
Mm.
It's a long path that we
Mhm.
have to trod through, and there's trees to break down and
Right.
rocks to move. But
Right.
once we look back on the path, we can see the steps that we're taking to get here. So
Right.
that's a part of the why is like, you know, it may be hard in the beginning,
Mhm. Mhm.
may be hard all the way through, but the why is so you can look back and say, this is what was built. This
Right.
is what we made.
Right. So for me, my biggest why um, is why not now? And what I
Why
mean by
not
that
now?
is, why not now? We have all these dreams and aspirations. Like, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. And it's like, why did you want to when you still have life, when you still have breath, when you
Mm,
are still
why
a
not
part
now?
of this existence? Jeff Bezos started Amazon at 45. Okay.
45.
Some of the wealthiest people in the world started their companies late into their 40s, 50s. And so I think what the problem that I see in society is that we all want it so fast, so quick, and so soon.
So soon.
So it's why not now is interpreted in two different ways. Is because why not now could be like, why can't I have it now? And
Why?
instead of it being, why can't I go and get it now?
Yeah.
And so I think the interpretation, we have to look at it. It kind of goes back to that saying of glass half full or empty. Because when I hear that saying, it comes to me like this: you got a glass half full. Okay.
Mhm.
Now there's one or two ways to think of it. I can drink the water and parch my thirst,
Yeah, nourish
right?
myself.
Nourish myself, or I can fill that glass up and have a full glass that runneth over,
Mm,
and I can drink till I'm full.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see what I'm
yeah.
saying? And I think that sometimes what happens is that we don't take that scenario into consideration of, if I drink the last of the water that I have,
Where am I gonna get more water?
exactly. So
It's gonna
then
be it's gonna be a long time because this cup.
is the only cup
Sometimes
that
it
you
takes a
have,
long time to fill up, you know?
especially if you're getting it by the drip.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If
And
you're getting it by the
you gotta
drip,
walk for
it
it.
might take two
You gotta
years
find
to
it.
fill this cup back up halfway. And that goes into the depression, is because it feeds the mind. I'm saying the cup half full, but I'm saying what does it take to fill the cup up? Is because if I fill the cup and I let it run over, then I can spill into other cups.
But think about this. What if you need that little bit
Mm-hmm.
just to keep going?
Mm-hmm. Well, then I would say, to your answer to your quest is this: the only way you can drink the cup is if you know that there's more water to be put in the cup.
But there has to be more water because the cup got filled to this point.
There you
It
go.
may not be filling to the brim
Mm,
all the time,
mm,
and it may not be spilling over every moment.
mm.
But
Okay.
the fact is, there is something to keep you, me, everyone going until the
Right.
next moment.
And that
Because
might
there's
be,
always going to be
mm.
more drips.
And I believe that that is the way that I interpret it, and how I'm seeing is, and I agree with you 100%, that we need more people with fuller cups.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
because my thing is you might have a pint size cup and run into a person with a gallon of water,
Mm,
and you can only fill your cup up
so
to that pint,
much.
right?
Yeah.
So then,
and so many times before the gallon person is going to say, all right, that's enough. I'm going to cut you off.
That's enough.
It's
because you'll never
there's other people who have needs.
And you'll never have enough water in a cup to fill my gallon.
No, you can't fill your cup up enough times to fill my gallon back.
Exactly. Or the amount of time it would take, unless you find an abundance of water. Now, we're using water as the substance is because water can be interpreted in any way. Okay, money, emotion, time, things of that nature. So we're using water as our analogy in this specific context. But we've talked about our business side. So what is your relationship? Why? And that's an open question. It's not
an open question.
Open question. No specific why or why not. Just why do you do what you do? Or why don't you do what you do?
Okay, well, why I do what I do? Man, I got hit by a car a couple of years ago. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I would even walk again, honestly. And physical therapy I had to go through was exhausting. But I went. I made it. I did what I had to do because I got a job to do, man. And there's a lot of times where you know what your destiny is and what your fate is supposed to be. And so,
facts.
You know, you just got to get up every morning and put the work in and just look at that morning sun and know that you got another chance, because I have fallen soldiers on the battlefield. That is another why. Because some of them people have made it to be why I'm this far. So why not do it for them? Why not do it for the ones who came before and pioneered a way to make it happen? You know what I mean? So there's another why right there.
Right.
It's you could find a million whys and why nots, but the thing is, why did you do it today?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why did you do something else today?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or why didn't you do something else?
Why
today?
Didn't you? Why did you?
Because we have set, and you know, this is, like I told you guys, this is my brother, man. This has been my ride or die for many, many years. We have gone to battle in many places, situations. We have battled the world side by side, and we have conquered it. Is because here we still stand. And I guess the why not, like, for me, as we talk, is because I don't only want to just ask you questions. I also want to interject and also display emotion and everything else like that. Why? Why did I not invest in me as much as I wanted to invest in my relationship, my marriages, my commitments, and things of that nature? Why was I not involved? And I was there. I watched it. I witnessed it. I seen everything. I went through it all.
Autopilot type of
but
thing.
I didn't. Why did I think I had that on lock?
Yeah, there's certain things and certain times where you think that you own it.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is. It's about the moment. It's about the time in that space.
Time spent.
To actually enjoy it, because I too once had a family. You know what I mean? And it was beautiful, but in the moment I was never there. I was always trying to get more money or pay more bills or try to make more connections that weren't really beneficial to the family at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so then when you, as you
went
through that,
why not? If you have the opportunity, would you not do it?
Well, you know, for me, and like, you know, I too have had families, and you know, I was married, and at some point in time I was happy.
Yeah, there were moments where you can look back and say, it was definitely times where you could say I'm enjoying myself right now.
Correct. Correct.
Where it wasn't just the slog of work, like
Mm.
you're waking up at 4:30 a.m. or you're clocking out at 6:30 a.m. or you're trying to wake up at 3 p.m.
Mhm.
to try to do something to make some sort of semblance of a lifestyle, but it's like it's about the moments. It's about the actual time. It's
Mm.
not
Time
about
well spent.
yeah, it's not about working yourself to the bone
Mm-hmm.
because that's not something we have to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we can actually do it for fun and still make a living at it. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like it
Mm.
doesn't have to always be sales and numbers
Mm.
and more
Mm.
consumers and things like that. You know what I
agree.
mean?
I
Like
agree. I agree with that.
there's a lot of stores out there. You can buy anything you want to buy, but like when you buy it and when you use it and when it's done, can you actually look back on the moments where you wore that shirt and
Mm.
something special happened?
Mm. Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
yeah, everyone has a lucky shirt. Everyone has a hat that they really like
Mm-hmm.
or their favorite pair of socks. You know what I mean? It's just that does something always happen
Mm-hmm.
or is it just your belief? Is it just something that
Mm.
we're talking about faith, something that you've built your faith upon because there was a moment
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
where you thought you saw a miracle or you thought you saw something different and you're like, "Oh, I was wearing the shirt or I had on the socks."
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's not about any of those things. It's about the moment and the time
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and what's happening then.
Right. Right. And I mean it for to try to, reminisce on what you're saying. It goes back to the saying of I believe it's Oscar Wilde who says that it is not life is not measured by the amount of breaths you take, but by the moments that take your breath away. And we equate certain things with memories. This is why we take pictures. And
Right.
how many times do you really go through your pictures and just look at your pictures? Never. It's because those are the past. Those are moments in time captured in the moment in the past that you will never ever get back again. Never. You can never go back to that moment in time. You can never
No.
have that joy of that moment in time. And you encapsulate it so that you can give yourself the idea that you can reminisce with that moment in
And
time.
that's what a memory is because you can't go back
No, you can never go back.
in a physical sense, but you can capture that moment and the joy of it and the feelings that were surrounded around you at the moment and in your darkest times
Mm.
come back to that.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I didn't even know if I would walk again, but luckily I'll be going skating tonight. So it's like
So
the
then,
universe and the gods work in mysterious ways because it's like I was laying on the ground, bro, broken,
So
broken.
then, with your why, we have asked a few questions, but why? Why is your purpose? Why is your encompass? So if you can use it as a circle that we can put things in, what is your why?
Well, my ultimate why would be family, bro.
Mm, mm.
I mean,
And how does that make you feel? Explain what you mean by family.
I would say family as far as me and you. You're my bro, man. You know what I'm saying? So that part of family, the family that you create. I have kids. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So there are moments in time where it's like this will be a special moment that we can look back on together.
Mm.
And it's like we don't know when we're going to recall this. We don't know what's going to be happening, but the fact is we went through this moment together. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of moments that me and you have had personally together.
Right.
And the next morning we can say, we did it.
Yeah.
We
done that. Been there, done
good
that.
morning, sun. You
Right.
know what I mean?
So I don't know if I was going to make it there. I didn't know if I was going to meet the sun at work this morning.
I mean, I, man, if you can ask me why, it would be to actually see what all that there is, because I feel like I've done all of it. I've done everything that you could imagine. I've seen the shadows, man, and I have seen the morning glory of the sun. So everything in between.
And I completely understand. And I feel that way for myself, you know. And I take that and I say that
it's a question of not why, but
why
how.
Now? Why not?
But how? How could you live up to that every day? You know? But why not?
Why not?
So
Why
it comes
not?
back to the why of why not do every single thing that you can every single day?
Right.
Because
right.
No one knows what's going to happen. No one can predict the futures. There's no seers. There's no future tellers.
Nobody cares.
It's not.
Nobody cares.
It's not
it's
even
your problem.
It's not even a point of contention.
80% of the people you tell your problem to don't give a fuck about your problem,
because they have the other same 20%
are happy that you are the motherfucker
that you're going through those problems.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I don't have to go through that.
Oh yeah, I'm happy.
So there's another why. Why would I tell you?
Right.
My personal
business, my
desires and fears and wants and dreams, like,
because you use it as a weapon against
you can weaponize that.
Yes.
You can use that as ammunition when it comes down to a point of
content.
Remember
contentiousness
when you said you were afraid that one time? Because it's not if you can't feel anything. If there is no emotion at all, then why? And what other emotion would drive you from where you're at in your hole, your place of comfort, than the fear of what if this place, what if what I have here, what if it gets destroyed? What if everything that's here, what if I can't protect it from here? What if I have to go out? What if I have to leave this place and protect it and make sure that no one can find it, but they could only find it if I was there?
So you're thinking of that in that
sense. So it's the why of, there's another why of vulnerability. Like, why would you make yourself vulnerable only to be ridiculed when you know that your vulnerability would get you ridiculed? Why would you put yourself out there like that? Like, why instead of just doing what needs to be dwelling on what could be, why not just put in the hard work of digging out that mine or digging out that path or cutting down those trees?
Do you feel in any way that the role of men and women are in some way becoming opposites in the sense of, why is it that women have more masculinity now than more feminism? Or why are women more in toxic masculinity and there are more men going the path of some of that other stuff out there? But do you have an idea or not? Do you have an idea? Do you have a
I don't even know if there's a why to that question, because it's more of a matter of some more of these outside forces. Like, sometimes you are given an offer that's just too powerful.
Hmm.
I mean, me, for instance, I have been given life-changing offers, but I know that the price it takes to accept that offer would.
Can you pay it? Can you?
I could pay it, but it would change who I am as a person fundamentally.
So then you're not willing to change your fundamental principles for the opportunity to have a better life?
No, I think if somebody offered me millions of dollars, billions, money I couldn't even count. We could go in a room and see the money, and I couldn't even begin to guesstimate. But if I had to compromise something I believe in just for piles of money, I can go get that money. I've made so much money in my lifetime just by hitting the pavement, going out there, learning skills, doing things that I never even thought that I would be able to do when I woke up this morning, but it was something that had to be done.
So then in your life currently, I mean, don't know your dating situation, obviously, but you were married for 10 plus years. And how do you feel? Would you revert back and go back to being married? Is because a lot of people that have done what you have done and have been married feel despondent, like they feel like they need that extracurricular activity or the person. Is because we can give our bodies to somebody, but do we really have a matching connection with a person? Physical is only one part of a relationship. It has to be a 3-part relationship, and I believe in the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And so do you feel in your current dating situation that you are meeting people more on a physical standpoint, spiritual standpoint?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have been meeting girls,
and please be honest the whole time.
Yeah,
please
don't just. I'm going to tell you, I've been meeting girls all over the spectrum.
Okay,
as far as physically being attractive, but really there's not a mental connection because we can't really talk about anything.
Why?
I mean, because we don't have anything in common. It's a physical connection. So we met for the exclusive reason of you look nice, I look nice. Let's talk about that thing. But there's these random situations that happen. And I will give you one, for instance, where after my marriage was definitely done, I had met a girl who was physically attractive, mentally stimulating, and spiritually, I would say, aware of who she was and where she was going. But I'll tell you honestly, I was raised in the church, but as I've become an adult person, I'm starting to see that form of control and conformity isn't really what any of these religions are actually talking about. If you read it and you see what's being marketed in the world as far as the big three, I mean, there's other religions out there that you'll have to actually study and find and say, I want to do some in-depth research on this, but there's 3 that we know. And I was raised as a Christian, and I know for a fact there's at least 30,000 churches in the United States that don't pay taxes.
Yes.
So it's like, what are you actually selling here? Because if it's actually a spiritual connection, and what you're saying is it's supposed to be spiritual and personal, then all of this production is just for the money. Because if it was real, like how it was back in the day, you would have a person who was definitely knowledgeable on these type of things, and you would have to go to them at a certain point in your life, and they would tell you how to situate and how to move around the things that were going on.
Mhm.
But now what we're doing is we're selling a man, giving him a job, paying for a building fund that doesn't pay for a building. I've been in many of churches with over $30,000 worth of money in the building fund, but there's
No building being done?
there's broken windows,
Hmm.
there's light bulbs out, there's doors that needs to be fixed, there's carpet that's being ripped up. So
So do you
I mean,
think
for
then-
$30,000, why not fix it?
So
But
do
then
you,
we look at, I don't mean to cut you off so
No.
many times, but then we look at the person who's in charge of this thing,
Mhm.
and they have new cars, they have new clothes, their family is set up, they have a really nice house. So it's like, where is the money actually going at the end of the day?
Right. Well, I mean, in so few words, is that they'll use what we have to call discretionary spending, and that's the legal term for, well, the building ain't needing no funding right now.
It doesn't need the funding.
But do you feel as though religion, from past times to present times, has evolved or devolved or de-evolved, is because the lack thereof of patronage, is because, as you know, we walk into churches and we see a lot of Black women, but we don't see a lot of Black men. And in my own personal experience, I will just dive deep in, or not deep, but I will just dive just a little bit into it to get to the question that I'm asking. Sometimes women of color can use God as a weapon.
And
kids as weapons of mass destruction. And I think that some women fail to realize that you are my helpmate. That is how you are described in the Bible. But, you'll say, oh, well, God said that you're supposed to be a manly man and a strong man and a provider. But he also said that you are supposed to be my helpmate. You can't use the Bible as a weapon dictate to me what I'm supposed to do for you, as you cherry pick what you want, but you didn't go into the whole scripture.
Well, see, that's the thing. We live in a place that's more about capitalism and progress than it is about community and togetherness.
Okay.
So there are certain institutions that have been built in this place to funnel certain individuals into a specific box so they can't intermingle. Because if we think about the way that this country has worked, for a span of time, Black women and Black men were united together, fighting for a similar cause.
A common goal
to have rights as people, to build in this country and say, we live here too. We deserve the same chance as anyone else that's here. But you start to see a shift between the 1950s and the 1970s. And in that time, the amount of Black men who owned houses, land, even cars diminished
significantly. Yes,
phenomenally. And
that,
I think that is because of the institution of jails and prisons.
And also the crack epidemic as well.
Also, to add to that, it was already there. That's not something that was just initiated in the 50s or just started in our time to say this is the excuse, but that's the extension of a further, deeper running issue that this country has that doesn't even want to teach our children, which is slavery. And no matter who it was, no matter what you look like, no matter what country you were from, everyone did it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone has owned a slave.
Mhm.
Every king, every magistrate, every prime minister, every chieftain.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what this world does. It takes lesser people that are deemed lesser by the people in power,
Mm.
and it uses them as a free labor force.
Correct. Correct.
So
So it's
that's
just
already an
politically correct
institution.
slavery.
That's already an institution that is set up as far back as we can go. As far back as you can search leaders and building technology and who was doing what.
Mhm.
Everyone is owned a slave who has been in power.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
Our own presidents had slaves and they were fucking them. Okay? So
Yeah.
let's not even try to act like this is a new thing. Slavery isn't new. It's
Right.
just different.
Yeah.
And how do we industrialize?
Modernize.
How do we modernize slavery?
Yeah. And
what we're going to do is create laws that impact only certain people that look like this.
melanated individuals.
And we're going to enforce those laws in certain neighborhoods and not others. And that way, anyone who's doing what we're looking for, we can take them in and they can do what needs to be done.
You know what's funny? I just watched a video the other day. Shout out to TikTok for kind of shooting ideas at a brother. But I heard a gentleman say, he said, "What is the least favorite race of people that you have?" And he said, "I don't see race. Everybody is just a different shade of wheat."
A different shade of wheat.
Yes, if you actually look at the chart and color of wheat, we are all different shades of the same
wheat
thing.
and sand, bro.
And and that's the thing. I think
crops from the earth.
Yeah, I think that the way that you get rid of racism is you stop talking about race. There should be no such thing.
There should
you see
be,
what I'm saying? There's one race. It's a human race.
Shouldn't be on job applications.
No, it should never be. And it's a form of discrimination.
Race and ethnicity, like
it's a form of discrimination, and it's
all
not
that
even
matters is my ability to do the job, my willingness to do the job,
correct,
and my desire to come here for the times that you have deemed that you need me to be here.
Yes.
That's all that should matter. All that other stuff is not even secondary or tertiary. It means nothing. What does it mean to say that you're from some place that doesn't even exist anymore? What if you're from a place that has had war so many times that they named it something else?
Damn. Or they're cutting it up so many times.
Yeah, they
one country that was
so many pieces that the street you were born on isn't even from the country you were born in.
No. Yeah.
What happens then? So
but that's just
what are we doing?
That's just
why are we doing it
on paper? You see what I'm saying? That's just what they agree upon on paper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is a fake line that goes from here to here that says this is your side, that's my side. But we're all human and we all live on the human planet.
So then it comes down to, why do you believe in what you believe so fervently? Because as we know, people will kill and die for their beliefs.
That's true. That's true.
But is you dying for what you believe in proving your point or disproving your point?
It's because it just depends on your martyr. It's called being a martyr. You know what I'm saying? You're martyrizing yourself. And so, I mean, just like Jesus is a martyr to some extent. You see what I'm saying? He would be a martyr because exactly. Yeah. So to Christians, he would be. To Catholics, it would be somebody else. To Muslims, it's Allah. To other people, it's other things. To Mormons, it's John Smith. They all had a messenger, but the problem that I have is everybody's arguing about what the messenger said. Bitch, did you get the message? Did you hear the message?
If you think about it, if you look at all of the messengers, all of the deities, and all of the messages, if you really break it down, it's all the same. We can talk about myths and legends, Jack and the Beanstalk, nursery tales, fairy tales, all of these other things. But when you boil it down
Mhm.
and you get to the actual crux of what this is, these are stories
Mhm.
based on potential real life events that people had to figure out in the moment.
Mm.
There was no book. There were no instructions. There was no how to for dummies, if you will. So we have to think about not only just our whys, but the whys of people that we haven't even met before. Why?
Huh.
If you could, here's a question. Here's a question. Not just me, but if you could ask anyone throughout history, throughout time, throughout anything that you've ever heard of, one person, one fictional or non-fictional being, who would you ask? Why?
Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla. Okay,
It would
that's a
either
good
be
one.
Nikola Tesla or Nostradamus. That would be my two picks of people that I would, if I can go and sit in a room, or like Marcus Aurelius. You see what I'm saying? The creator of Stoicism is because understanding how to be in control of mind, body, soul, and spirit is, in my opinion, the thing that we have the disconnection, which is why they called us at one point in time 3/5 of a man, because he had a body, he had a brain, but they didn't believe that you had a soul and you did not have origin. It's because you don't know where you're from.
You don't even
And
know.
so
You gotta have a story.
I would want to go back and understand how to be stoic and heroic in my own life so that I can take what I've learned through Stoicism as I've been um, um, studying it currently and listen to the mouth of the man who said it. You see what I'm saying? To understand how to be in the middle of a storm and stand still.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And allow the storm around you to billow out of control, but have enough in you to know that if I stand here, it cannot break me. But the moment I move is when I'm so far out of my element. I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna give you a story real quick. Um, there was some real cool niggas on a boat, right? Sitting out in the water.
Okay.
Peter, David, John, sitting on a boat. He sits out there, they smoke some good weed, high as hell. He looks out on the water, sees a man standing in the water. He looks down and says, "Hey, Lord, is that you?"
Is that my guy?
Lord says, "Yes, it's me." He said, "Brother, if you can do it, well, let me come out there and stand with thee." Lord said, "Okay." Nigga hopped out the boat, didn't even grab a coat.
No coat.
Still in the water and said, "I'll be damned. If you doing it, I can do it." But the storm got a little bit wild and the wave almost hit him. Peter got a little nervous, hit the water. Before he drowned, the Lord grabbed him and threw him back on the boat and said, "Ye little nigga of faith, why did you doubt?"
Ye of little faith.
And that gives me that stoicism is because I've stood in the storm and I've ran. You know, it goes back to this time I was listening to a story about T.D. Jakes was stating, and he was saying that you got to stand on it. You can't be about something that you don't stand upon. You cannot be good and only give 80%. Eric Thomas said, you can be a beast and not give 90%. You can't be a beast unless you give an 120%. Because if everybody's doing 100, how you gonna be better?
Yes.
How you gonna show up?
Scale if everybody's 100.
If everybody's 100,
if every single person here really weighs out at 100, your scale is broke.
Right. And you got to give more than that.
Like, you got to think about it, man. You draw a crowd, right? You got people coming to see you. It's 1,000 people. How many of those people do you know for a fact came here to see you do good?
You don't.
You don't know.
You don't. It's because
There's-
there are plenty of people smiling in
there
front
are
of
at
you
least half
that
of
ain't
these
happy.
people that came just to see you choke, just to see you get nervous and stutter on the lines and forget your mark or something. Half of these people want to see you make a fool of yourself.
Half of them are your enemies.
Half of these people would be glad to see you fail so they could take your spot. That's the thing. But what you got to realize,
I want to go back to
what you got to realize is the why. Why though? Because they missed their opportunity and they see a star shining.
I really want to go back to a quote that you said the other day that really, really, really kind of resonated with me. You had said something to the effect of, everybody wants to be in the spotlight, but don't nobody want to change the bulb.
Yeah. I mean, you have 15 minutes, right? You have 15 minutes of fame.
Okay.
Where you can get on this camera and you could shake it, you
Change
could break it, you could work
Change
it,
the
you
world.
could twerk it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But who's coming with you? Or, I mean, is this a group thing? Is this a solo act? Is this a team sport? Like, are we playing doubles in tennis? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get there, and that's when the people come, and they're like, oh, well, we've been with you this whole time. But you think about the darkness, and you think about those moments when you were alone, and you had to build yourself up.
Right,
and you had to look in the closet and find something that looked good tonight.
Right.
You had to fucking go in the bathroom and spritz yourself up right and say, oh, okay, I like that. Before you go out, before you hit the stage, you got to make sure you all right.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems is we never check on self.
Okay. If you're not paying money, how many people are going to be there in your corner to make sure that you're okay? If you don't pay money for the stylist, if you don't pay money for the makeup artist, if you don't pay money for the costume designer, if you don't pay money for the manager, if you don't pay money for the producer, what's your show gonna do? If you don't pay money for the goddamn animal wranglers, you out here trying to spin around on a fucking ball with some goddamn seals walking around you. You ain't trained these motherfucking seals. You got to pay a guy for that shit. Right. So if you don't pay the man with the seals, he ain't even getting in the truck.
It kind of goes back to this idea that I had, or I listened to something the other day, and it said guy was getting married, called his dad and asked his dad, hey, I'm a little overwhelmed with everything that I have to do. Can you call all of my friends? Here goes my guest list. Can you call all my friends and tell them the date, time, and everything else like that? He's like, son, I got it. No problem. So on the day of the wedding, there's only 5 people at his wedding.
Okay.
And he goes up to his dad and he's like, what did you do? Why? I gave you one job.
There's
one job. And the dad
this is
said,
supposed to be a production.
The dad said, I called every person that you asked me to. But what I told them is that David's in need of help. And on this day at this time, if you could please be there to support him for help, we could use it. Only 5 people showed up out of 25 people on a list
of fucking names.
And so that goes back
My
to
man needs some
everybody
help.
Everybody that you think is your friend is not your friend.
It's not really your friend.
I'm learning that more and more now is because people only call you when they want something. It's like, oh, hey, let's go grab some lunch. Nobody calls that and says that. Nobody calls and it's like, hey, how are you doing, man? You know what? I need to make sure that you are breathing.
Have a good time.
I'm coming to pick you up. We're going out. We're going to go do something. We're going to go have fun.
Yeah,
I don't care what it is we're doing. We can do something.
Some pool, watch a movie. Like, it doesn't even matter.
And I think the problem with it is that the people that are always okay ain't okay. Because they're always there for you.
It's a show.
It's not even a show. It's the veil that they have to put on.
It's because there's 3 masks.
Yeah.
There is the mask you put on for everyone else. There is the mask you put on for yourself. There is the mask that is truly you. And that last mask, a lot of people don't ever see that last mask.
And it never changes.
And it stays the same.
It's always going to be, because you can change the mask.
Is you.
You can change the veil. You can change the color. You can change the picture on the
You
front
can
of
put
it.
a little bit of makeup on that
Yeah,
bitch.
you can put
Do the nails.
Listen,
Braid
you can
the
put
hair,
makeup on a
you know what I'm
pig, but it's
saying?
still a goddamn.
It's still a fucking pig. It's gonna eat some shit at the end of the day.
I swear to you on that one. You know, I really thank you so much for giving us our first podcast. It has truly been an honor to spend this time with you, experiences with you. Today's topic was why. And if there's anything that you would like to add or anything that you would like to say, the studio audience is always here to listen to you, man. So I give you a couple seconds. If you want to shout out some people, do your thing, man. It's on you.
I just want to let y'all know this is the infamous Brody. I'll be at the spot tonight. Y'all know where I'm at. Roll Denver. I'm there. Always. Every time.
I'm actually going this time, y'all.
I convinced them to go. I convinced them to go. So it's about to be real live tonight. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Pete and repeat on the field. We doing it big. But
give them your Facebook, your Instagram.
Really, I want to shout out the kids, man. I want to shout out my kids, my babies. You know what I'm saying? Jade, Rose, Pearl. You know who you are. I want to shout y'all out one time. The Fam Bam, the Bros. Prince, motherfucking Michael Myers, you know you out there and shit. Watch my shit, bro. But we're gonna be at Roll Denver tonight, 35th and Blake Street bombing, baby. You know we from the Rockies. Let's do it. Big.
Hey y'all, thank you so much for watching the show, tuning in, coming in, being loved, being happy with us, man. We really appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you so much for supporting the show. It means the world to me for you guys to have seen our first studio guest, man. And I want to shout him out, Brody Taylor. That's my boy. That's my boy. I'm so happy that we had him on the show today. Today's topic was why, just why. I hope that you guys got some insight from that and everything else like that. We want to shout you out. We love you. We care for you. We respect you. Homage, love, respect, and peace.
Hey, yo.